Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be continuing my 2017 reading wrap-up. If you guys missed the first 10 books that I read in 2017, I will leave a link to that down in the description as well as up in the card symbol, and you can check that out if you want to. But you guys know how these work, so let's get started. The 11th thing that I read in 2017 is going to be Firelight by Kabuishi, which is the 7th book in the Amulet series. This is a middle grade / children's graphic novel series, which is absolutely stunning. This is just what some of the artwork looks like. And then they also just have regular paneling as well. In the first book, Emily, who is really the main character of the series, and her family are in a car wreck when her father passes away. The mother ends up taking the two children to go and live in their grandfather's house, I believe. And then Emily stumbles upon a magical amulet, and they all end up in another world, and there are tons of adventures and everything like that in this fantasy world. I've thoroughly enjoyed this series so far. The last book comes out next year, which I don't know how I feel about it because we're not going to have any more story, but I'm also excited about seeing how this is all going to wrap up. I ended up giving this book 5 stars because I just really love the artwork. Just look at it. It is so pretty. And the story itself is very compelling as well, and I just like all the characters and I like just everything about it, so I ended up giving it 5 stars. I definitely recommend the Amulet graphic novel series if you have not checked it out and are wanting to get more into graphic novels. The next book I read is Vassa in the Night by Sarah Porter. This is a standalone YA retelling of Vasilisa the Beautiful, I believe, and it has very prominent Russian folklore elements, like having Baba Yaga as one of the characters. So I was really intrigued going into this novel about what it was really going to be about because I've never read Vasilisa the Beautiful. I don't really know that story. And I got an arc of it at BEA as well as a finished copy from Tor. I was really excited to jump into it and see how I thought. It's about this girl named Vassa who is living with her stepsister and her half-sister. Her half-sister gets mad at her and tricks her / forces her to go to this murderous store to get some light bulbs, and then Vassa takes on the challenge of going to get these light bulbs in this alternative magical Brooklyn and ends up going to this store and trying to survive the store. The store owner is Baba Yaga. In Russian folklore, Baba Yaga is a witch, I believe, that steals young girls and kills them, I think. I don't know too much about Baba Yaga, but from TV shows, that's what I've gotten from that. But this story is so weird. Like, the magical elements are so weird, and a lot of it I was just like, I don't even know what's happening half the time, and I don't know, I just didn't really get it completely. I enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, somewhere in there, but it wasn't my favorite retelling ever. And if you're just looking for some weird Russian folklore retellings, here you go. I then picked up Following Atticus by Tom Ryan. This is a nonfiction book that follows Tom and Atticus as they decide to hike the 48 peaks over 4,000 feet in New Hampshire to raise money for cancer awareness and cancer research. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that happens as well, just them living and different problems that they faced, and just a big heartfelt story about a man loving his dog and a dog loving his human. I ended up doing a book review for this, which I'll leave in the card symbol as well as down below, and you can check it out if you want to know more of my thoughts. But I really did enjoy this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and it really kind of motivated me to get more active with Nook, and so hopefully I will be starting that New Year's resolution here soon because the weather is starting to get warmer again. Not that it ever gets cold in Florida, but this book really is giving me the push and the desire to go out and be one with nature, that kind of stuff. Next, I finished with Blood Upon the Sand by Bradley P. Bolio. I also did a book review for this, which I will leave up in the card symbol and down below if you want to check it out. But I ended up giving this second book in the Song of the Shattered Sands series 5 stars because I really enjoyed how the world has been expanded and how the characters are growing and changing, and the world is being explained more and the magic system is being explained more. There's just so many amazing things about this book, and I loved it. If you want to know more of my non-spoiler thoughts on the second book, check out that review, and I'll also leave my review to the first book down below if you want to check out that one. It is just so good. It follows a girl named Cheta who's living in this city-state kingdom of Sharakhai, and she decides that she wants to kill all of the immortal kings that are ruling over the city / the desert around them. There are 12 of them, and so Cheta then has to go on a journey to find out how to kill these 12 kings, as well as figure out where she fits in the world and how these magical things are happening and where the gods come in and all of this crazy random stuff. Awesome. check it out. I'm hoping to read the prequel novella so I can learn more about Cheda before the beginning of the first book, when she is mainly just fighting in the pits, because there's this gladiator element to the first book. It doesn't really pop up in this one, but I want to know more about that. So hopefully going to be reading that novella soon. And the 15th thing I read in 2017 is going to be Wonderstruck by Brian Sleznick. If you guys don't know, Brian Sleznick is the author that did The Invention of Hugo Cabret as well as The Marvels. His storytelling is very unique in the fact that he does a combination of a lot of pictures and illustrations as well as words. So half the book is in words, but then there are a lot of pictures as well. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think I liked The Invention of Hugo Cabret a little bit more because I felt like in this one it was a little bit disjointed. It took me a while to get used to the 2 different storylines happening at the same time. One is taking place in the 1920s, 1927 I believe, and it follows this girl who is totally obsessed with this movie star, and she has like a little album of this movie star's articles and everything like that. And then it also takes place 50 years later, and it follows a boy who his mother has died, and he's just trying to find out what comes next. He feels like something is missing, and so their stories are quite similar, and so it switches back and forth between the 2 storylines, but they also take place 50 years apart. So but their storylines are pretty much the same but different. I don't know how to explain it properly, but you'll get what I mean when you've read it, or if you've read it, you know what I mean. Before going into this, I didn't realize that this book has a lot of commentary on and exploration on the deaf culture, when deaf people were encouraged to not learn sign language and to learn how to read lips, and to also learn how to speak and only communicate that way. Even if you were uncomfortable or you were not very good at reading lips, you were still forced to do that. It focuses on that time period of deaf culture, and it also takes place in another time period because there's 2 time periods. So it also takes place following a character that is having an easier time with it, but then also, I mean, it just covers a lot of deaf culture stuff, which I was surprised by because I did not know that was in here, and I actually really love seeing that. I gave it 4 stars. I'm definitely looking forward to reading Marvels soon-ish, but until then, check this one out if you want to. Those are the next 5 things I read in 2017. If you want to check out any of the books, I will leave links down in the description so you can go and check them out. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what you've been reading recently. If you have any suggestions on characters that are deaf, because my dad is deaf, so I would probably like to read more books with deaf characters in them. And really, books where the main character is the one that's deaf and not just a side character, like in the Magnus Chase series where one of the side characters is deaf and communicates through sign language. Also, if you have any more dog nonfiction recommendations for me, I have a couple that I will be reading or reviewing throughout the year, but they are not released yet, so I don't have them yet. So leave anything you want me to know down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.